Hoo, hoo, hoo. We are live. We are live. We are live. You guys are in for a treat. I'm so excited. My special guest, come on in the room. I'll tell you all about it. I'll tell you all about it. I promise I won't keep it a secret. We need some music. I don't know about you, but I need my tunes. That's that cool and happy music that they play in the commercials. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm going to turn it down just a bit. If you are showing up for the first time and you're watching us on YouTube, then make sure that you click the subscribe button. If you are tuning in to us on Facebook, make sure you click on the Empowerment Duo page so that you can be notified whenever we do any other cool stuff and bring on any other amazing guests. And if you have a story to tell and you need an audience to tell it to, click in the description box and there is a link there that you can see if you can be a guest on here with me. I want to connect with you. I'd love to know who you are. So make sure that you do let us know if you're listening, if you're watching. And if you hear anything that you enjoyed today, make sure that you comment, share, and like. And again, if you're on the YouTube, click subscribe. Click the button. Click it, click it, click it. You know you want to. You know you want to. It's fun. You can do it. It ain't even going to cost you nothing. I am excited because my guest today is none other than new, soon to be released author, Rebecca Jeffereys, the Autism Mom. Rebecca comes to you with years of experience, patience, and love as it relates to dealing with a child on the autism spectrum. I hope I'm saying that right. And she has learned some things. She's learned some things that she probably would have wished that someone else had learned before her and told her about them so she wouldn't have had to deal with them on her own. But because she did, she has decided to help another mom that may be dealing with the same thing to be able to get through the experience with a little bit less isolation, a little bit more tools and resources, and a little bit more confidence, I think. I'm going to bring up my special guest so that you guys can meet her and we can have a chance to chop it up just a bit. Bring into the stage Rebecca Jeffereys, the Autism Mom. Hey,
Hi,
Rebecca.
Lisa. Hi.
Hey, I'm so glad to have you here today.
I'm thrilled to be joining you on your show. I get such great energy from your vibes, so I always look forward to it.
Oh, awesome. I'm excited. Well, it's mutual. I have to tell you, working on your project has definitely been a joyful experience. It was not very laborious at all. And it was because the content is so useful and it's written almost like I'm having a conversation with the author, which is really great. You want to tell us a little bit about yourself and about your story?
Sure. So I have a son who's going to be 22 next week. I can't believe that. And we went through a majority of his life facing struggles and everything that kind of spoke to us as autism, but none of the professionals were confirming that for us. So we had to kind of be clever with how we got services for him. But it was really hard to like explain him to people because we didn't have a label. And I know people are very reluctant to have a label, but it does come in handy. It simplifies so many things.
And I think that's really the benefit of labels. A lot of times, another one of my authors, his name is William Brown, he talks about labels a lot as well, and often about how they limit us, right?
Yes.
But I think that labels probably were intended to simplify, and it somehow got twisted up.
Yes, exactly right.
Yeah. So as you were dealing with the challenges of of the differences that your son had and how it didn't necessarily fall into the classifications, how did you sort of navigate that?
Yeah, so I had to really be his advocate. We had gotten some diagnosis for him, like severe anxiety, social phobia. What was the other one? It's kind of like a really fragile ego kind of thing going on. He just didn't have any coping skills, and so we were able to get some services for that. The first doctor who saw him gave us a list as long as my arm, like take him to therapeutic horseback riding and take him to social skills classes and take him to occupational therapy. And so that was our life. We started homeschooling him to alleviate the stress of school because that wasn't working.
Yeah.
And we loved homeschooling, but we do half the day of school and then the other half go off to his appointments.
Right.
So
But now some of that was I would imagine that although a lot of that was very, very helpful, it could also become very, very expensive.
Exactly. Because we did not have that label yet. A lot of the services were out of pocket. A majority of them. I think the only one that was really covered for us was occupational therapy.
Wow.
Yeah. So I mean, but he's your kid, so you're willing to do anything for your kid. So
absolutely
do what you have to do. But yeah, it was expensive.
And so the benefit of actually getting the label was twofold. Then it was also to help you explain to others how to interact with him, but also to allow you to be able to qualify for some of the services that you needed.
Right.
Now, do you find that that's a big challenge for many of the moms that are moms and dads? I say moms, but I know that it's both. The parents that are dealing with a child that's on the spectrum.
Getting help covering services?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's a challenge for everybody. I think it's gotten better. And speaking with other moms, I feel like there is more accessibility and people are understanding the need more. It definitely was a challenge for us. I think even if we had the correct diagnosis at the time, we still would have been fighting for some basic things. But I want to throw in here, because I keep talking about the diagnosis not happening. It actually does happen when he turns 20. That's when we finally get the authentic, he has autism label. And that doctor, she said she could understand why the other doctors didn't give that label, but that for sure, he really had everything. The doctors were trying to check every box before.
Right. So can you explain a little bit from a layperson's point of view, what this spectrum means? I think it kind of means that there's a broad range, but if you could just...
It's a really broad range. And the labeling actually changed about 3 years ago. They took the name Asperger's out of the language. And so now we have high functioning autism, which means the child has pretty good academic skills. It's probably missing the social skills, maybe doesn't understand personal space. They have a lot of anxiety, interpersonal relationships are difficult. And then you work to the other extreme end where you have someone who requires 24/7 self-care. They might do a lot of self-harming. They might harm their keeper. They have no academic skills. So it is broad, and now they have started very broad, and now they have started putting in ADHD, ADD, because those are all shared. All those characteristics are shared
in the spectrum. They're putting those things into the spectrum.
Right.
Wow, that's interesting. I don't think I was aware of that. Your book that is about to come is called "You Were Made for This."
Yeah.
What made you come up with that title?
It took me forever to come up with a title. It was hard, but as I reflected on the book, the whole message of my book is to help the mom understand that she has more power than she knows. And that even though she was delivered a child with special needs, she was the person that was put on this earth to care for that child. And she has the skill set. It just has to be accessed.
It has to be accessed. It has to be nurtured and developed, just like anything goes.
Right.
Oh my goodness. I love that you were made for this. I'm trying to pull up the image real quick so that I can put up on the screen our subtitle, because I think that this is really phenomenal. Finding courage and intuition for raising a child with autism. Why do you think the parents need courage?
Oh, Coming from my own experience and reflections, I can see so many moments when I didn't step up to the plate enough for him. Like I was worried what my peers thought, or I was thinking, surely this doctor knows more than me. So to have the courage to recognize that your child the very best, and you really can advocate for them the very best. That's where I want the courage to come into place.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then explain the combination of the intuition part.
Yeah. So intuition, everybody has intuition, but we have so much noise going on in our heads and our hearts that we can't receive. And I completely shut down when I was younger mom. And I shut down and I closed off and I just got tunnel vision and I just let my intuition get blocked off. And I think I wasn't serving him because of that, because I wasn't allowing space for guidance to come to me, to be able to slow down enough to assess what his needs really were, and to let the answers to organically come to me.
Yeah.
So instead I was like freaking out or crying or, running around saying, I don't know what to do. And actually I did know what to do. I just wasn't trusting myself enough.
I was about to ask, do you think that there was some element of bully behavior, whether it was spoken or unspoken, towards you and your own intuition about things that you thought your son might need?
We did experience some bullying. It wasn't about the choices that I made for him. It was interesting. We were at a school and the other family was frightened of him. And I totally understood that because I didn't know how to explain him. His behavior was erratic. It was scaring the parents. They're afraid their children were going to get hurt. And so,
Right.
I understood it, but I really needed to feel supported, and the support was not there. So that was really hard. We got ostracized essentially, with the exception of two families that really held us up, and they've stayed with us forever. Those two families, we're still in touch with them. So yeah, it can happen.
Important. Yeah,
it can happen.
Because I can imagine, Rebecca, that another family, like you said, who is dealing with a child who doesn't have those same energies, those same outbursts, and so on,
Right.
and they're feeling that their child might be in some sort of danger. But then you still are challenged with, but my child still needs to be socialized.
Right.
They need to be appreciated for who they are. They still have their own feelings. How do we balance the two?
Right.
And I think that can definitely be a scary place to have to navigate.
It is scary. And that's where that courage comes in.
Yes. That's where I think the courage and intuition come together.
Yeah.
That you have the courage to actually stand up for what you are intuitively sensing is in the best interest of your child.
Right. And that is very much when things changed for us, as I finally started listening to my intuition and decided to pull him from school and do what my heart told me he needed. And it really was life-changing for our whole household. It turned around from being a stressful, negative space to a really nurturing and beautiful space.
I can only imagine that being the case. Now, I want to make sure that our audience takes advantage of the knowledge that you have amassed as a result of parenting for 20 years. And I want to make sure that they know that they can the book will be ready for purchase this spring. We're in the last stages now. And so they can actually go to my.epublishyou.com/Rebecca Jeffereys. I will leave that link up on the screen so that they can get notified when it's available to purchase. I would consider this a must-have gift for any parent or caregiver that is dealing with a child on the spectrum. And if you know someone who is in that type of situation and you're not, because you possibly can't relate, you don't understand what they're dealing with, this would be a loving gift to give to them as well.
Yeah, I love that you mentioned that, Lisa, because my parents are going to read this book and they're going to be like, we never knew,
We
because
never knew.
we never knew. Because I never shared much with them. Not really.
Right.
So,
You're not sitting around whining and complaining. You got
yeah.
too much stuff to handle on top of it.
Yes.
On top of it. So it's difficult.
Yeah.
And I think that this is, in a sense, it is illuminating it for those who are close to someone who is handling this responsibility. I almost said the word burden. And I think that was, I felt tears coming to my
Yeah.
eyes right now. Responsibility.
Yes.
It was a gift that was given to you.
Yes.
You were made for this.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes even those gifts can feel so heavy
Right.
and so difficult to traverse independently that you need community, you need
Mm-hmm.
support, and you need help in that. And I want to make sure that people know that they can connect with you and essentially get that support.
Right.
I'm going to be putting the website up. If you can give, if they go to, if you go to the website to purchase the book, the link is there. But I want to put the link to you directly as well.
Okay.
Can you give that to me, and I'll go ahead and put it on the screen. For some reason,
It's sproutinghealthyfamilies.com.
sproutinghealthyfamilies, IES.com. And I think that if we could just realize that none of our children, none of them, no matter how they're labeled or whatever, none of them came with the handbook.
Right.
And all of them come with their own set of greatness.
Mm-hmm.
And it's up to us to take the time to figure out what that particular combination is.
Mm-hmm.
Of love, support, nurture, but also empowerment. And I want you to talk about that.
Okay.
Talk about the empowerment.
So, yeah, the empowerment. There is a chapter in my book titled Empowerment.
Yes.
And this came about from realizing that I was disempowering my child, basically. My husband helped me see this. I was helping him with everything. I was doing his laundry. I was, driving him around. I was zipping his coat for him, like everything. He was a little prince. And so I would do that all for him, right? But in many ways, that the activity wasn't serving him.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't teaching him how to be autonomous.
Right.
And so one day my son asked for a glass of water. Now he's 7. He's plenty old enough to get his own water. But I was like, sure, honey. And I went and get him water. My husband's like, don't do that. Make him get his own water.
Here you go, my king.
Yes.
My little prince.
That's right. So he really helped me to see that I needed to step back. And my gift had to change from me giving to actually supporting in his efforts to be independent.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think that was probably an epiphany moment.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I still see them. I mean, even today, I was still seeing moments in growth in him and his level of independence. His maturation level is behind a typical 21-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to gauge things differently. And when I end up celebrating, someone else celebrated 7 years ago, but I'm, like, woohoo, this is happening. I'm seeing this. So I look for those little victories every day.
Yeah, I think that's also another reason why you need a community of understanding.
Yes.
Because I think that we should celebrate. I think we should celebrate everything. Anybody that's been around me long enough knows that if I'm making up these 17 flights of stairs in my house, I'm getting to the top and I'm saying, thank you, Jesus.
Yeah.
So, but to almost be in a place, and you kind of did it just then, where you almost have to gauge and censor who are you around before you can celebrate something.
Yeah.
It can be that. I think that can actually squelch the potential for more progress.
Right.
Because we all know that gratitude begets more and more blessings.
Yes.
And so, right now, I know that people can connect with you at sproutinghealthyfamilies.com. Is there a Facebook group or some other community yet?
There,
Okay.
There's a Facebook group by the same name. And it's a nice collection of people. It's not just autism mamas. It's pastors and healers and mentors and entrepreneurs. It's a really nice group, mainly females, but men are welcome as well.
We always let them come in. They just have the right energy.
Yeah. Yes.
But yeah, so there is a Facebook community and it's Sprouting Healthy Families on Facebook. Yes. I think that that's an awesome community to even venture off into if you are dealing with learning how to manage your family dealing with the spectrum, the autism spectrum in any way. And also that was a newsflash for me as it relates to ADHD being now on the spectrum.
Yeah.
Because I was challenged with ADHD with my son as he was growing up. And I often tell people now, I'm 53. And so there was no diagnosis for anything when I was growing up. You just got a whooping and you stopped doing it. You got a whooping and that was it. But you learned how to figure it out or not. And I realized that had I been born later, I would have been probably diagnosed with ADHD. Mm-hmm. And I learned to self-manage because I was in a situation where it was manage it or get killed or manage it or die. So even if it's something just where you feel like you need some camaraderie in your understanding, I would suspect that the people will be willing to at least help share some of the newfound things that are going on. Because like I said, I had no idea.
Yeah.
I had no idea. With the community, are you offering any types of support, any types of like group? Do you guys have any webinars? Do you have any programs that you've got coming up?
I actually don't have anything coming up, but I've been working with a colleague of mine who's a pediatric physical therapist, and she also has a son on the spectrum. And every so often we do videos on Facebook, and I post it in the group and on my personal page. So we'll be doing more of those, I'm sure. We just don't have them scheduled right now. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great, though. I think that that's really important. The dialogue needs to be opened.
Yeah.
That's what we need to consistently see is this dialogue, which brings me to the other segment in your book where you actually include resources. Mm-hmm. I don't think people realize how oppressive sometimes isolation and being different, feeling different, or feeling like you're dealing with something different can be.
Right.
Can you share a little bit about some of those moments where Rebecca felt like, you know what, there's nobody else in the world who knows what I'm going through?
Yeah. I would say it would be that time when we struggled the most with the school, with not feeling supported there. I definitely needed to reach out to someone for help in there. You know, fortunately, my friends really let me lean on them. But I think, you know, knowing that there are professionals out there too that can help you. If you feel like your friends don't understand your situation, there are all these great crisis centers and national phone centers you can call any time of the day, in the middle of the night when you've had it and you're in tears and you don't know what to do next. Use that number and call them. I mean, it's a free service. They're there to talk.
Absolutely. We're on the line today with Rebecca Jeffereys, the autism mom and the author of You Were Made for This, Finding Courage and Intuition for Raising a Child with Autism. And I am telling you, this book, you need to get on the waiting list. I don't even know if there's going to be enough to get out there. You need to get on the waiting list because this book will inspire you. It will inspire you to believe that you can handle this. It'll really inspire you to believe that you were made for this. I mean, to be quite honest, that is what it is honestly going to do. It is going to remind you that you were made for this, that God, fits the burden to the back. My husband always says he fits the burden to the back. And we get to find the blessing in every circumstance. Every circumstance. Yeah. I'm sure that there are some special and unique characteristics that your son has that set him apart from anyone else
Right.
in the world.
Right.
Is there something specific about him that really warms your heart and
Oh,
you wish more people could know about it?
yeah. His level of compassion just blows me away. He has a heart that's absolutely huge. He's very sensitive to other people's needs, on an empathic level, which sometimes he's too sensitive, and you'll hear, we were hearing a lot when he was a kid, oh, he's a sensitive boy. And I was like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
But he is really sensitive. He's in touch with the people in the room with him.
Mm-hmm.
But he's also in touch with the greater world in a way that I hoped for, but never expected from my child, in the way that he embraces every human being he comes across. And just the other day, he raised the question to me. He says, why do people get caught up on the color of people's skin? Why is that a thing? It's like, I
Yeah,
don't understand. People are people.
we
And
are.
yeah, and that was the biggest prize to date so far for
It's
me.
some of those things you wish that they could almost intrinsically teach the world just by being in it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I agree.
Absolutely. Miss Phyllis, thank you so much for joining. I believe that Miss Phyllis, I think she told me that she has a grandson that's on the spectrum as well. And I know that we got to meet him once, and he is phenomenally inquisitive
Mhm.
and very, very smart. I enjoyed watching him play, and very, very independent as
Mm.
well. And I think that when we take time to look at anybody as an individual, we can find that what makes them different doesn't always necessarily make them bad or different. It's just a part of their uniqueness.
Right. Right.
And I wish we would embrace one another's uniqueness a little bit
Yeah.
more.
Me too.
Every day.
Hmm.
We're looking for the spring release of You Were Made for This, Finding Courage and Intuition for Raising a Child with Autism by the autism mom herself, Rebecca Jeffereys. I'm telling you guys, you need to get on the wait list for that. You can go to my.epublishyou.com/Rebecca Jeffereys. And it's Jeffreys, Jeffreys,
Yes.
just for clarity's sake. And I did spell it right here. So
Yes, you did.
you need to go ahead. You don't have to pay for it now. We will let you know when it's ready to purchase. Just go out there and let us know you're interested. We'll send you the link also for the group if you just sign up to let us know you're interested, so that you can join the family. And here's what my husband says for his group. His group is Male Empowerment Networks. He says that's when life is treating you well, the network needs you. And
Mm,
when life is not treating you so well, then you need the network.
that's perfect.
And I think that that's probably perfect in the case of Sprouting Healthy Families
Yes.
on Facebook as well, because some days you got it going on, and then I don't know what happened.
Right.
I can't even think right now. I don't even know what to do.
Right.
So, Rebecca, I want to give you a moment, give you last words of empowerment, enrichment. What would you like to share with the audience? Go for it. Oh, I
Oh.
want to show them the website. I'm sorry, I meant to show it to them. I want to show it to them so that they can see it. Make sure that you go out there and check for yourself. I love the book. I love the cover, and I love that picture of you,
Thank you.
Rebecca. It's so beautiful that you get your copy of the book. I'm going to put it back on the screen so I can put it. You get your copy of You Were Made for This. Just go to my.epublishyou.com again /Rebecca Jeffereys. There you go. Now I'm going to turn it over to you, Rebecca.
Oh, my final thoughts would be just to make sure that moms and dads know they're not alone in this process of raising a kid on the spectrum, and that there is love and guidance and support available to you, not only from the outside, but also from the inside. And I'm hoping that I can help you to access that and put that power forward for yourself.
Absolutely. I love it. Can you hang out with me for just a moment while I close
Sure.
out?
Yep.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Wow. I am telling you that I'm excited that I get to work every single day with amazing, powerful people who have been able to navigate circumstances that might somehow make someone else feel burdened, but they have decided to be empowered and empower others. I am Lisa Santiago McNeill. Remember that you have been blessed by the blessor to be a blessing. Permission to be amazing is already being granted. So go forth and be amazing. We'll see you next week. Bye bye.